So this video is most likely going to be on the shorter side just because it is our second lesson within 1 week. So everything that we're going over is still pretty recent from our earlier lesson this week. I'm still going to go through everything, but just know that, it's not going to be much of anything revolutionary for you. So it's all going to be pretty familiar with what we had already covered. So the warm-up that I sent you for this lesson was a straw exercise. It is a little bit on the longer side. So just if you haven't done it already, know that when you do warm up with this one, you may need to take a break about halfway through. It's up to you. It may be perfectly fine. Almost 5 minutes is maybe a long time to work with the straw for a vocal exercise, kind of depending on how much you're used to it, how uncomfortable it makes you. So just kind of feel that out. If you need to take a pause and take a break about halfway through, that's perfectly fine. It is a good range. So as far as covering the low end and the high end, it just moves fairly slowly. That's why it's so long. So just keep that in mind as you use it. Concone number 4 sounds fantastic. I'm super impressed with the extremely short time that you had the melody recording. You did an excellent job singing along those syllables with the melody. So you're definitely ready to just switch to the accompaniment. That was super fast. So the accompaniment is already uploaded on YouTube. You'll just go to the Concone playlist on my channel and find number 4 to start practicing with. You'll still hear all of your melody notes played. You'll just hear the additional notes from the rest of the piano accompaniment. So looking fantastic there. Falling Like the Stars, we're still moving forward with making those note modifications for the extreme edges of the range with the female track. So we're still just continuing with that karaoke track because the original key is super duper good to go. So with that, that means that those higher chorus notes, we're trying to figure out lower alternatives, and that the lower verse notes, we're figuring out higher alternatives, so that everything kind of sits in a more neutral mid-range place. Yeah, so we're making good progress there. We really just want to get to a point where those changes feel comfortable and we can make them consistent. So that way you're not figuring out, trying to guess your way through each time that you do that. And then I'm also going to send you some sheet music for the first classical song we're going to do. I do have the book for you. When we go back to in person, I'll just give you the book. For now, I've just scanned in the pages for our first song. So don't be turned off to it. The song is called Tears. I promise it is not like horribly depressing. But what I do want you to do, I believe it's 4 pages long. I'm going to send you the sheet music, and I just want you to read through the text between now and our next lesson. So that way you're basically just reading through it like if you had to recite a poem. That's what I want you to do. This really is actually a poem set to music by Tchaikovsky. So it's a really, really beautiful song. We will go over the melody a little bit in our next lesson. But first, I just want you to get familiar with the words. It's very poetry feeling, so my hope is that you enjoy it because I know you like working with words and writing your own stuff and everything. So hopefully it's a piece that you end up liking. But then we'll get started on the actual music once we've had a chance to familiarize with the text and the context, right? It's hard to, know how to approach the musicality and the actual performance of a piece until you know what you're singing about, right? So we'll kind of get started going into some classical technique, which will be pretty exciting and fun. And yeah, we will dig into that probably as soon as next week. So that's all you have to do. Read through the text out loud. If you have any places where you're not sure what we're really talking about, or if it gets a little bit confusing anywhere, just make a note of it so we can go over it. I will want to know, what's your take on it next week. If you had to basically summarize it, what is the song about, right? What's the main message? What's the main emotion? What are we really going to be singing about before we get into the music? Okay. I think that is everything. So have a great weekend. Like I said, it was going to be pretty on the short side. So yeah, happy practicing. And if you have any other questions or need anything else, just let me know.